When I spit bars in a rave, man, I go hard like Santan.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of Touchlinefracas. This evening I'm joined by some of our usuals. Disu, how's it going?
Yeah, not bad, not bad.
Staying safe, repping the badge. We like to see that.
Bleed into the Ertz, gaff. Bleed into the Ertz.
Love it. Meads, how you doing, man?
What's good, man? I can't complain. You say?
Not bad. What's that? Week 10 without a trim, yeah? Yeah. Seb, no cigar this week, huh?
Yeah, man, no cigar this week. You know, it's mad. It's like it took me like 5 days to get that smell out my room. It's a bit mad still. Fam, I had to look at myself like, was it worth it? But
It was worth it. It was worth it.
It was worth it, man. It was worth it, to be honest, man. It was worth it, man. But yeah, I think it might be a regular thing for me.
Sweet. Good to have you on the pod. So we'll start with the only major league that's actually going on at the moment in Germany. Did you guys watch any of the football this weekend? You expressed feeling that it didn't quite slap the same as the Prem. So I don't know if you watched it again this week.
So certain man said they're gonna quit watching football again, bro.
I ain't watching that German-ish again, bruv. That shit is trash, bruv. That is a two-pack of ass. Word to Joe Budden. A two-pack of ass. No, it's just boring, man. Like, but all the man do is press, bruv. Press. And then once you beat the press, yeah, that's how Sancho and Hazard and them are bearing down on goal in the 12th minute, 4v1, because they set the whole house to press, full court press, one pass over the top, and it's peak, bro.
And they're open. Yeah, that makes it exciting though. We want goals, no?
It's like watching those swimming relays where a man swims to one end, tags the next man, and goes to the other way. That's what it's like, bro. That's not football. But I like it. I like watching certain players like Brandt. He's really, really impressive. I would really enjoy watching him play. And I need to see more Kyle Havertz because he's got a lot of hype around him. So I haven't been able to watch Leverkusen yet. And yeah, I'm just seeing people like Muller still do bits in the league. Just makes me feel like, this league's nasty, man.
Yeah, give Muller props, man. He came through. He came for us a good scorer, and he kind of changed his game, and he's now a creator, man. Respect.
I could change their game when they played in the Bundesliga, bro. Bayern got 7 in a row. 7 in a row.
Nah. Listen, I saw Muller give us the business at Stamford Bridge, fam.
Y'all are ass though. Y'all are ass though.
Yeah, maybe so, but he balled out, bro. And he was.
Muller's a perfect example of white privilege.
I used to criticize Muller a lot because just stylistically he's so ugly to watch. But he peak, honestly. I think it's very difficult to criticize him because he gives you everything. Literally gives you everything you want. Like goals, creativity now.
I personally find it very easy to criticize Muller.
Obviously, you're all about the eye test. You like a little bit of aesthetic.
He's nasty to watch, bro.
We won't talk about the dark days where... We won't talk about the dark days where he was being compared to Neymar. We won't speak
about man said he's better than Neymar. That's
Sacre bleu.
LVG wanted to spend 100 million on him.
Yeah.
Wow. LVG is a sicko. He's a sicko, you know.
That's when I would have announced my retirement from football.
But the worst thing about it, is Muller rejected it. He didn't want to leave Bayern. That's the actually worst thing about it.
I'm all right, Gov.
He said, I'm all right, mate.
To be fair, considering the amount of money you spent, 90 million on Lukaku, 85 million on Maguire, 100 million on Muller's not that bad if you compare it.
Fucking hell, mate.
Considering how much you spent,
I'll do this over again.
You spend 90 million pound again on Lukaku.
Over Muller all day.
You're bugging out, B.
Lukaku's got resale value. Maguire, not so much. Cool. So obviously we're getting to a stage now where countries are starting to really get COVID-19 under control. They're locked down, and now they're actually looking at what's happening around the other side. And a lot of the major leagues are now looking like they're going to be coming back late June. So La Liga have been given the green light to come back from June the 8th onwards. I think the Prem June the 12th. What's the feeling on the leagues coming back? Who are we looking forward to see? What we're expecting to see? I mean, if Germany is a reference point, certain man coming back looking a bit, they ate well. They ate well.
A lot of teams are looking a little bit. I wouldn't say like like Wolfsburg, for example, just looking an absolute mess. Like there's a lot of teams in Germany that just don't look fit and prepared. Like, and I feel quite bad because generally the teams with the better players are just gonna wipe the rest because they've got better quality. So with Leverkusen, obviously Dortmund, Bayern, they're able to just steamroll the teams just based on quality and a bit of fitness as well. You're able to separate the proper elite players in comparison to the ones that are just all right in that league, for that league. So you kind of see the stark difference between the training levels and quality of player in the Prem and in the Spanish league. So it might just get very, very nasty for a couple of teams, man. Because in Germany, but then again, Germany is an open league anyway, so that's why you're seeing hella goals. But yeah, it's looking a bit nasty, man. I don't know. I feel like. Yeah, but I feel like a lot of players are still worried, and the thing is, it didn't affect Germany as badly as it affected us here. So I feel like Germany have taken the right measures, and I think the worst thing that we're probably doing, and I guess other leagues are doing, Spain and England are doing, is using Germany as a reference point. You can't really use them as a reference point because the impact of COVID is mad different in comparison to. Obviously in Spain and England. You can't really compare it. So even the protocols, a lot of players aren't comfortable with it. Like Troy Deeney was getting a lot of criticism. Kante, he's pulled out. I think Tammy Abraham ain't really too sure about training. So it's just it's looking a bit mad. But you also see a lot of players that are still hungry. They want to play, they want to train. So it's just mad. I don't know, man. It's going to be a weird.
Yeah, I'm not expecting everybody to come back. Bournemouth have had players test positive, which then means they have to go into the isolation. And it's literally going to be stringent testing the whole way through. So it's kind of like, we'll test you on Thursday. By Friday, Saturday, we'll know if you don't have it. You don't have it, you play your game, then you get tested again on Monday. Say you test you on Monday and it turns out you have it and you've gotten it from somebody on another team. So then both teams have to isolate. So then and you have to isolate for 2 weeks. So then what happens to your game to next weekend? So as long as you can manage it, which seems difficult when you mention the fact that Germany overall have handled it much better.
Yeah.
Somebody testing positive for it. And you can't blame people like Deeney and Kante in terms of wanting to be careful. Deeney's son has health issues, so naturally he won't want to expose his child to that. And I understand Kante also has health issues.
Yeah, Kante's got health issues. It seems to be a genetic actually, because I think his dad passed away from it as well as his younger
brother as well. Yeah.
So, and Kante has also fainted in the changing room before as well. I think the season before last, just before Manchester City, he didn't play. So it's like, obviously, it's a lot to worry about. So I don't know. You can't begrudge anyone, and I feel like anyone that's like begrudging players that are putting their family and themselves first in terms of their health, they're crazy because you be doing that. You do it yourself. You know,
but people want to be entertained, innit?
Bro, that's the thing. You're talking about entertainment, yeah, and you're.
Are you not entertained?
I was just about to do that. Oh my god, this is why you're my bro, fam. You're my bro. That's my bro.
You're completely disregarding health. It's mad. It's absolutely mad.
Okay, Mariah, I changed my mind. You're now Pippin. It's not Seb anymore.
This guy, Rodman talking up, you know? You know what I mean? Man's telling the man who's Pippin from the Rodman spot, you know? Game's crazy. Cool. Yes, me. Obviously, France have said their league is void. PSG will be given a championship. Mbappe, I think, agreed to share the golden boot with Ben Yedder. They've already confirmed when their next season is starting, which is late August. I think it's the 22nd of August.
Don't think his jokes are like the French league said, F it, fam. PSG have done.
Yeah, man.
Everybody else is either trying to next thing, or Holland they avoided it, but Ajax didn't get it. PSG, and them shakes called it, they listen, big man.
Uber allowed them, innit? Uber's like, I will eat, we'll allow you to eat still.
Do you know what it is? Obviously, the sheikhs have got it in their contracts. Look, we're going to give you an extra £100 million if you win the league again. It's written in your sponsorship clause. So obviously, they had to call up the president of the league and say, listen, yeah, we've got some clauses to activate. We've got some clauses to activate. Give us that title, brethren. Because I think what mostly, I honestly thought, well, remember we said it on the pod a couple of weeks ago. We said that, look, Ajax and the Dutch league aren't big enough to be the president. You can't set precedents with that league. You can't. So I think France, maybe you can. Like if you were gonna decide to void the league or make a decision on the title, France, you could have used them, but it seems like everyone's like, nah, fuck that. There's too much money at play. There's too much money at stake here. We're gonna fucking run it and complete the league. But it's weird. But it is also it's another good thing because in France you're probably gonna be able to have a proper pre-season now. Whereas over here, we don't even know what I'm going with that.
Yeah, I don't. Obviously, they're probably looking for it to finish in July, late July, maybe late July, early August. What are we telling the man? Them you've had your pre-season, Gavs.
Yeah, man. You man's had enough time on that. But I think some of the teams are smart, man. They're using this time to make players look lit and that. You see, like Kai Havertz and that, while all these players are lacking fitness, just taking a piss and that. Do you know what I mean, bro? My man's capitalizing on Corona, and he's turning up. Do you know what I mean? He's fucking turning up, yeah, and he's looking elite.
You're being harsh, bro. You're being harsh.
Nah, he's looking elite still, bro. Because I ain't gonna lie, prior to Corona, I was on him. Like I was like, I used to watch him because I wanted to see, like, and obviously, like his physique and the way how he kind of like moves off the ball, and even like his ball striking and whatever. Like, and he's quite intelligent. I was thinking, all right, cool, but I just don't see the hype. Yeah, I don't see the 100 million.
Let's talk on him as a prospect. I think he's been linked to a plethora of big clubs. Since they've come back, he's been playing up top in a kind of 4-3-3 formation. It's notching, but we also know that he can play in a 3-man midfield as well, and he can play wide. He's been compared as a mix between Ballack and Ozil. What are your feelings about him as a prospect? Because a mix between Ballack and Ozil sounds like it's a velvet hand inside an iron slip or whatever they call it.
No, hostess of the
wow, look at the analogies.
That wasn't even a good one, but you get the idea.
Ray Hunter, come outside. Ray Hunter, come outside. Man.
Iron hand inside a velvet glove. That's it.
The things with Havertz, yeah. So I've been watching him because Chelsea been linked. And to be fair, I've been watching him since the beginning of last season.
Who haven't you been linked to, my guy?
Yeah, that's the thing. Obviously, clearly, something, Frank ain't happy with something because we're linked with Hella. But I think he's a good player. I think he's a very good player even. But I've always had my reservations about him, like the same way I've had reservations about Felix. They're undeniably talented, but in terms of like fitting into like the Prem, like, because I'm always assessing players based on what they could bring for us or bring to me. Stand alone, they'll be good wherever they're at. But what can they bring to Chelsea if they come to England? What can they bring to the English league? Havertz, deceptively quick. He's not like lightning quick, but he's relatively fast. I think the biggest issue with him is he is quite slight. And I think in England, you're going to need a little bit more P, bro. So you're going to need a little bit more strength. So I don't know. I don't know. But technically, he's sound. Technically sound. Mad intelligent. Knows how to work the spaces in between the lines and in behind. And he's got a great shot, man. Great shot, great finish. Very composed player. But and captain at 20. So he's got a good temperament. But I'm still, I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm blown away by his talent. It's weird. Like, I think the up and coming crop, I would say that I'm blown away by many of their talents, but Havertz is probably I'd probably say he's the best out of the bunch in terms of the young players, like of that age bracket. He's probably the best of the bunch.
They've got a few talents in that league, obviously. Werner bagged a hat trick today.
I actually don't think he's slight. Like, he looks like a big lad. Do you know what I mean? Like, he looks like.
He's not Marga. He's not Marga.
No, it's not Marga, but I think like
lean muscle, like
but even like tall, like I just don't think he's like tested. Do you know what I mean? I feel like it'll be interesting to see how he's in a Prem. So like prior to COVID, I just didn't see the £100 million, but obviously like these days nobody is actually worth the
Worth
100
what you're
mil.
getting
Do you
paid
know what I
for.
mean? But obviously now I've been really, really looking at him, and you have to put asterisks on the games in it because players have had a lot of time off. Yeah, players are dusty and whatever, but he looks a class. He looks a class above in it. Like now watching him, looks a class above. He just looks, just so smart, so dominant, and it's quite interesting. Like the fact that I was asked the question if I'd take him. I think someone said if I'd take him or Sancho.
Be careful here, sir.
No. I was asked the question if I said take him or Sancho, yeah. And to be fair, looking at him now, I feel like I'd take him. And the only reason why I'll take him is because I can see the variety of positions he can play. Do you know what I mean? I don't think he's a better player than Sancho, but now I can see, okay, you can play. Yeah, I can see the value now. I can see,
where would you play? Where would you play him for us then?
For us, like I could see him as a number 8. I could see him on the right. Do you know what I mean? I could see him behind like a striker in a 4-4-2. I'm now seeing the value. I'm now seeing that he can play multiple positions. Whereas before, I was like, if it's just one position v position, I feel like Sancho's better than him, way better than him. But when you look at like, the variety of positions he can play, and for example, if like Pogba goes or whatever, I'm happy to have him there. Do you know what I mean?
Going. If he Pogba's going, it's not going to be this summer.
Not this summer. Nobody's got the piece for him still. But I've been impressed with him still, and it's nice that Leverkusen keep playing him while players are unfit, so they can raise his price, man. I see the tactic. I respect the tactic.
You know the vibrations.
The thing is with Havertz here is, he can play in a variety of positions, and that's a good quality in itself. But he can play a variety of positions to a high level. That's why it's like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like if he plays in an 8, comfy. If he plays in a 10, ridiculous. If he plays a striker, comfy. If he plays wide, very, very comfy. Like he can play in a plethora of areas, and his game doesn't necessarily change that much because it's always based around finding the space and then attacking and creating and I guess trying to finish. He's a great player, man. He's a great player, but still, I just have my reservations. I don't know. £100 million is a lot of money to spend, and I'm never really comfortable spending big money, especially at Chelsea. We never get it right, bro.
You're buying Leverkusen talking about 100 million, bro. We'll give you 50 million to call it done, bro.
That's the thing, though.
We'll give you 50 million. We'll give you 50 million and a Gallo. Keep it moving.
It's the thing, though. Like all of these clubs now, all of these clubs. Like, especially when you're developing like proper great talents, like they see man them like Maguire going for 85 million. They think, why am I not going to price my Don at 100 mil when this is a talented 20-year-old?
The market is what it is, man.
It's adjusted.
Germany is it's an interesting one. They have a 5-team title race with Bayern on 61 points, Dortmund second 57, Leipzig third at 54. Leverkusen 4th at 53 and Mönchengladbach 5th at 52. They've got a big game on Tuesday. They got Dortmund at home against Munich. So I think we'll be watching that. I hope Dan's watching it because that was a game he watched when he wanted to start his Sancho agenda. It almost pops. And then Sancho heard it. Someone said
Sancho popped still.
Someone forwarded Sancho the chat. And he hasn't really looked back since still. So Sancho already looks a bit sharper than he did last week. So bust a little skill, got an assist. So big game.
Nothing heavy.
Big game. We gotta be watching that. This week 442 came out with their top 10 Premier League midfielders of the Premier League era. So between the three of you, I want us to sit down and really take our time and go through what our top 10 would be, and just talk about Premier League midfielders who they may not have made our top 10, but we've enjoyed over the years. Before we start, because you've requested this specifically, Seb, I'm going to let you have your Coutinho segment. The floor's open, sir. Say what you want. Let's hear it. Let's be having you.
Nah, a certain Brazilian Don, do you know what I mean? When I was in England, used to get the plaudits and that. And True say used to score a couple bangers. So I know, like, when it comes to the highlights, man, more gassed and whatnot, or whatever. So he's got his move to Barca, forced his move to Barca and whatnot. It ain't worked out. But, sometimes it don't work out if it's a year. Do you know what I mean? Fair enough, innit? So, hey, get a quick loan to Bayern. Do you know what I mean? Get a quick loan to Bayern, where really and truly, if you look at like Bayern's midfield, you should really be doing your thing there, like really and truly. And then he's gone to Bayern. I don't know, ain't really popped off, and they've refused to pay the fee. So I want to just track back to when what's his name? Prince Philip. So I want to track back to Prince Philip when he was first in the Prem, and used to compare him to a man like Pogba. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, they used to compare him to a man like Pogba because my man used to bang from 70 yards and like once every 10 shots and stuff like that. And I just really want to shine the lights on him because really and truly, what has he done? Like what has he done? What did he do to deserve the hype?
Well, in the first place?
Yeah, in the first place. What has he done to deserve the hype?
Come on.
And where does he go? And where does he go from here? Where does he go from here? Like, what is his price now? Because 120 million is refused. What's his price now?
What he did to deserve the hype, saucy, innit? He's a saucy youth. But if we're putting up, listen, I'm not going to justify it. If we're looking at business over the last 5 years, has anyone done worse business than Barca? There was no market for him where that justified having to pay 120 million.
Manchester United. I think Manchester United and Barca have been the worst in the transfer market.
Bro, you covered on that.
And Chelsea too, bro.
Hey, you man bought drink water for 40 million, bro. Relax.
Yeah, bro,
Relax over there, cuz.
I can't. I'm not gonna vim. I'm not gonna vim because I have no shit. I'll talk about my club. What a disgrace, bro.
History for a record fee, cuz.
Yeah, fam. Yeah, Kepa as well. Come on,
man could have bought Joe Rogan's podcast for that fee, fam.
For that fee, Man bought Kepa Bomboclarta or whatever his name. What's his name? What's my man's name?
Hey.
Obviously, you were watching the Beanie Man Bounty Killer.
Yeah, I mean, what's my man's name, bro? My man on versus and that. What's his name?
I see Kepa in the comments as well. Come on. So I think it was for me. It was an odd signing. He's a good player. He's a very good player on his day, but I don't think he's a player that justifies 3 figures. I think that they've effed it, and they're gonna have to put that on the list of bad signings who they're not gonna recruit anywhere near the value.
Do you see even now they've even put a cut price for Dembele, 37 million. Recently,
Liverpool did good business, man. Liverpool
done their thing still.
They did their thing, man, because that's a lot of money. And although they spunked about 60 million on that Kepa brother, who's proven to be a waste of money, still they did good business getting 140 million out of Coutinho.
Taking the self-isolation thing a bit too far, cuz.
He's been self-isolated for 2 seasons.
Man, he preempted the self-isolation thing, bro. You preempted all that, man. He's been tosh. But no, Coutinho, but to be fair, I think we're being a little bit harsh on Coutinho. Whilst he hasn't, I wouldn't say pulled up trees at Bayern, he's been putting up numbers for the amount of starts and time he's on the pitch, man. But then again, start looking at his goals. How many of those goals and assists have come in clutch moments of games, like important moments in games? Probably not. He's getting the 4th and 5th. So it's hard to judge him, really, on this year, for me anyway. So I'd mainly judge him based on the fact he's not been able to nail down a place at Bayern, but also him being mediocre at Barcelona. So if you're not nailing down a place at Bayern, and you've got Koeman and that playing ahead of you, man. Koeman's playing ahead of you.
He's a good youth, though, Koeman.
Koeman's all right. He's not good, though. He's not good.
I think I'd be
very normal.
Like dynamic wingers, but I think that with Coutinho, obviously he was a very good player. I think it's hard to deny that. But I do agree with Seb to a certain extent. I think his reputation was inflated because he was. I think that comes with being a star man for a club like Liverpool, and also when you have big highlight moments like fantastic goals, like the one he scored against Southampton, for example, or the one against City. He's got loads of like highlight goals. They're always going to give you like a certain level of status. But if you watch games, like there's so many games, he just doesn't feature. He just doesn't feature. And it's just unforgivable. Then you watch Barca, it's literally the exact same thing. So the price tag that he got bought for, which is obviously not his fault, That's an egregious signing. 130 million for Coutinho, and he's been absolute tosh. That is wild. Wild. And when you look at some of the signings other people have purchased for a lot less money, like, for example, Son costs about probably less than 30 million, 20-something million pounds. Salah, 30-something. Mane, 30-something. Mahrez, 60. Do you know what I mean? Bernardo Silva, about 50. All these players doing way better and probably are better players than Coutinho to some extent. And they didn't cost 130 million. So, boy, I think it is diamond if you wanted two clubs where those clubs are extremely dominant in their leagues and you're not putting up trees. It's a bit of a concern still. I think they'll do well to get 70 million for him.
70, yeah, I think they'll do well to get like 60. Where's he going?
28. Is he not 28? Come on, man.
Where's he going? That's the thing. Where's he going? What big club with that kind of fund needs or potentially want to?
I think it'll be like a tier 2, tier 3 club.
Everton, yeah.
You can't go Everton and you play for Liverpool.
Boy, Everton just signed a new kit. Everton signed a new kit deal. Everton just signed a new kit deal.
Newcastle's local now, man. Let's not talk about Everton's no more. Like, they're not around no more. We'll talk about Newcastle.
Everton and Newcastle are a shout. I think Newcastle would be a very good shout. Main man at a club that has aspirations for, you know. And he's a moment player.
That'll be the best place for him. That'll be the best place for him to rebuild his career. 1,000,000%. Okay. I would like him, James Rodriguez, another one that's not pulled up trees at Bayern Munich. Yeah, I think those are the kind of places, like an aspiring team that's looking to not dominate, but trying to rub shoulders with the big boys, like fake it until they make it. Like, I think they need to be at those kind of clubs to rebuild their career. So James Rodriguez, Coutinho, Newcastle would probably be your best bet if you're trying to rebuild.
But the thing is, for them, I think what it really comes down to is kind of like the 10 has been phased out now. The 10 has been phased out of the game, and if you're number 8, you have to contribute somewhat in the defensive phase. James, Coutinho, these are James, not the most robust, but another one who's like a main man. We saw what he did at Colombia, and we see what he still does in cameos at the clubs that he plays at. Even he was good for Bayern. He was good. I thought it was good for Bayern. You know, the Coutinho, the same sort of thing. I think the game has passed their mold of player by somewhat. Even if they went to a Newcastle and balled out, who's taking them? I don't think at this point James or Coutinho have anything to prove in terms of their attributes on the pitch and what they bring to your team.
You know what? I feel like I wouldn't say that the number 10 position is dead or it's changed. I feel like for you to be a number 10 now, you need to have an element of dynamism in your game where you can adapt to different positions. So if Coutinho was able to adapt and be a little bit more solid in his defensive and midfield work, he'd be able to play 8, no problem. Like, no problem at City. I think he'd be able to play it, no problem. But he was going to take a punt at him. I don't think City would ever be willing to take a punt. Maybe. You don't know. I don't know. Like, James as well, you could probably play him in midfield. Probably. But again, it's the dynamism. I don't think he's quite dynamic enough to do it. But make certain tweaks, you can do it. But yeah, those guys, I thought they need to definitely be at a club where they're not like a massive club and the expectations are mad, because their man will always come short. Because especially Coutinho, because he flatters to deceive too many games, in my opinion.
Agreed. So let's get into this Touchlinefracas top 10 Premier League era midfielders. First thing I want us to get into is there's a bit of a Gerrard versus Lampard discussion in the chat. There's no Liverpool representative here, but funnily enough, it was Disu who was fighting the red corner for Steven Gerrard. Means wearing the blue top, fighting the blue corner for Frank Lampard. Let's get into it, lads. Who was the finer midfielder, and who should be above who in terms of this Premier League top 10 midfielders list?
Wait. Calma, yeah? Before we begin, right, let's make this very clear. The discussion about Lampard and Gerrard was mainly based upon the idea and the notion that Frank Lampard wasn't clutch for Chelsea or didn't really have clutch moments like Gerrard did, when that is just categorically bullshit. It's just not true. Who's a better player is down to interpretation, is down to opinion. Like, but
I mean, less so.
An opinion thing.
That's less so. To be honest, the clutch out Lampard, that's wild. But let's talk on it.
You know what I'm saying? So, in terms of better player, right? I'll break it down into a couple of things. Let's break it down into a couple.
Yo.
Let's break it down into a couple of things.
You can hear.
You know what it was? You know the thought that came out of my mind. The first thing I thought reliability. Like, who's more reliable as a player? Yeah, that's Frank all day. For me personally, anyway. Frank Lampard's more. Huh?
He's called Frank. He's more reliable.
No, what? Steve.
Who starts?
Steve.
Hold on. Who starts? When have we ever started our player comparison metrics with reliability?
But look, I'm starting it there. I started it because that was the first thing. That was the first thing that came to mind. Like, in terms of like raw ability, I feel like Gerrard probably had more ability than Lampard.
Raw ability, refined ability, however you want to talk about the ability.
Ability, cool. Ability, he had more ability, but I feel like Lampard, more often than not, was a consistent performer throughout his career. His ups were very up, but he never really had mad downs. He never had real moments of proper fuck ups, in my opinion. Like, you know, and I don't think he ever had performances where you felt let down by Frank. I feel like he was pretty much consistent, high level performer throughout his career, more often than not. Especially at Chelsea. I don't know about England. England, it was probably a level down, but for Chelsea, you could probably speak to any Chelsea fan that it was pretty much consistent throughout his career, and probably until around 2012-13, where he was just goal hungry and chasing that goal record, where he was just doing an absolute mad thing and literally running into the box to try and score a goal. He didn't really care about midfield duties. He was just literally just darting into the box and getting goals. But yeah, Frank, ability, yeah, I'd give it to Stevie, but there's so many other things that for me will make me pick Frank. So many other things. You know what I'm saying? Sure.
Yeah, you haven't mentioned any of them here though. This is
okay. We'll talk about goal scoring. We'll talk about goal scoring. So goal scoring, yeah, a consistency and reliability of his goal scoring. 1, 2, temperament. Big game occasions, he knows how to handle games. Because I've seen Gerrard fuck up in way too many games. Today I was watching Drogba's 29 Premier League goal season. Yeah, who gave him his 26th? Steven Gerrard. Passed it to a nice little back pass around the keeper. Drogba slot, and Gerrard's done that a number of times throughout his career. As many highs as he's had in terms of game-winning moments or clutch goals, like he's had hella fuck ups, you know. In terms of Frank, I can't really say that about Frank. So that's me personally, innit? Oh, and also, he's not. One thing about Gerrard that I don't like is, it's a good thing and a bad thing, is the Superman mentality. I feel like the Superman mentality, a lot of the time, leads to him fucking up. It leads to him making mistakes because he's trying to do too much and trying to focus on everyone else's jobs, and then leaves people exposed, in my opinion, anyway. So yeah, Frank.
Okay. So yes, as we go on, let's talk about this top 10 list.
I'm sorry.
You didn't even believe it yourself.
No, that's the thing. The thing is, for me, it's my preference. I prefer Frank, but in terms of who was a better player, of course, I think Gerrard probably in terms of ability is better. But Frank, for me, was just too consistent for me not to pick him. You know what I mean? You pick a level of consistency.
Let's talk on this top 10 then. Let's talk on our top 10. Let's come together to put together a top 10 line. So let's first of all put together some names that are going to be in the mixer. I think we can, Gerrard, obviously, Lampard. Give me some more names, lads. Players that you think of when you think of them.
Can we just talk about how Roy Keane was number 1 in the
Roy Keane?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Big up Roy, man.
What?
Roy Keane, Paul Scholes, Yaya Toure. Who else are we thinking of top 10 Premier League?
You're saying that Roy Keane was better than Paul Scholes?
Hey, Fabregas.
I don't make the rules.
And it's a good thing you don't. You're probably trying to get Rashford into it.
McTominay, we're getting there, bro.
Cool. So I've got Gerrard, Lampard, Roy Keane, Scholes, Yaya Toure, Cesc Fabregas. Who else have you got?
Kevin De Bruyne, does he count? I think he counts, man.
Okay.
I think Kevin De Bruyne counts. Vieira's there.
Hey, we're not putting Vieira in, man. I shone a light on these stats.
Oh, nasty!
I shone a light on these stats this morning, man.
I've had nothing about those lights you speak
He went
of.
in the group chat. He went into the group chat. It's not a screenshot. It's like, hey, lads, Vieira don't like touching the ball, you know? He's so shameless. Because you know stats. Up to they started recording stats in what? 2009 or something?
Hey, what can I say?
All Vieira's touches weren't there.
What can I say? What can I say about Vieira? 307 appearances and 1,257 touches. Does that even make any sense, bro? What was you doing? Just running around kicking people? Fucking hell, geezer. Can never be in my top 10, geezer.
Give me some more names, lads. So Gerrard, Lampard, Roy Keane, Scholes, Yaya, Fabregas, KDB, Vieira. Who else comes to mind when you think of the best midfielders to have played in the Prem?
Best midfielders in the Prem.
Best Fabregas has to be in the top.
Yeah, I got Fabregas. Would you have Essien on your list potentially?
Absolutely not. That's outrageous.
I mean, he was in the league for what, five, 6 good seasons.
I don't care.
I'm putting Kante above Essien.
Same.
Right, cool. Kante. All right.
Above Essien.
David Silva, or do you not consider him midfielders in this sense?
Nah, man, no, because the best Silva years came when he was not playing centre midfield.
Yeah. No, Silva's not there. Yeah. Would you guys put Fernandinho? I think he deserves it.
Oh, good shout.
I think he deserves it.
Fernandinho.
Yeah. Fernandinho, minute percent.
Anyone else? I mean, we've kind of just about got 10, to be honest with you.
Bro, there's not a lot of.
Modric was in their list. Would you have Modric in your list?
No, because was he at the best? Local.
Prem Modric is better than basically all these midfielders.
But Modric didn't used to play 10.
But his Prem, how many years did he?
Modric used to play 10, so he wasn't really playing.
No, he didn't just play 10. That was more Van der Vaart.
Well, before then, Modric was playing as a 10, you know.
No, when Modric first came, he was playing deep, very deep. On the
he played deep. He played deep. He played on the left as well. Left for Redknapp or deep for Ramos. He played in quite a few positions for them.
Bro, so
we'll put his name in there. We'll just put his name in the mixer. Carrick.
Yeah, Carrick. But for me, doesn't. Nah, man. Good player though. But
yeah, man. Carrick deserves some shine, man. Respect my boy Carrick, man.
Listen, you can.
If we're having a man like Kante there, Carrick has to be there.
Carrick as well. Okay.
Huh?
Carrick is better than Kante.
Say that one more time.
Carrick is better than Kante.
Cool. You'll hear from my lawyer.
Yeah.
You'll hear from my lawyer. You're crazy, bro.
Okay.
Fucking crazy.
You lot have given me 12. You lot have given me 12 names. Thank you. From these 12 names, let's put them in some sort of order. So let's go from 1 to 10. Because I think if I asked you guys to go the other way, your heads may spontaneously combust. So, who would you have as your best?
My favorite ever Premiership midfielder is Cesc Fabregas. So I'm putting him number 1 for me.
And Leeds?
Yaya 1, Cesc 2.
Yaya for me. Yaya comfy, in my opinion.
Okay, I can get behind Yaya as well. The body of work is there. It's there in terms of ability. It's there in terms of individual statistics. It's there in terms of team success. Yaya Toure, best Premier League midfielder. Who do you have second?
Cesc.
Gotta be Cesc, man. At least.
I'll go with Gerrard.
Yeah, I was gonna say Gerrard for me, man.
I don't know. We're taking your opinion.
Shall I say why Cesc?
Go on.
Cesc, all right, cool. Bossed at an early age, then came back to Chelsea and won the Prem, which Gerrard could not do at Liverpool. And bossed it. Do you know what I mean? At Chelsea.
How many league titles did Cesc win?
One. What was that?
One.
He didn't get one for the Invincibles, but he was what he was. He was.
Come on, he was a fledgling.
No, I'm talking about Chelsea. Yeah, no. For Chelsea, he was just too. He was too key. It was too key. It was too much of a
key player in
performance.
one league title. Individually, probably one of the best peaks of all the midfielders in our list.
For me.
Gerardo Fabregas, Premier League. I go Gerard.
Fabregas, then Gerard.
I'll go Fab for me.
Meads?
Yeah, Gerard. Just.
Okay, so we'll go with Fabregas just off the virtue that he won a league title. And we'll put Gerard third. Cool. Who would you not then have fourth?
Wait, actually, nah. Wait. Hold on.
Let's pass it back.
Scholes.
Who's the best out of Scholes, Lampard, and Vieira?
Scholes.
Nah, man. Come on.
Come on, man.
Don't say Lampard.
Let's keep it G-real. Come on, man. Come on.
A couple deflected half volleys. A man are talking about lamps and that.
Come on.
You man love saying deflected, fam.
He loved the deflection though. He scored quality goals, but he loved the deflection. Very few lads love the deflection like Lamps.
Come on. Let's be real. Like,
the maddest thing about Lampard, yeah, there's so many things that is labelled against him. The deflected goals. He scored one deflected goal this season at best. This is what these men said.
No way.
Don't say no, bro. Don't say no. And there's another thing. Hella penalty.
He loved the pen.
You might say hella penalty, bro. Come on, man.
You're not come on. Hella pens. And the fact that he didn't let.
How many of his players were goals? How many of his goals were pens?
I don't know, like 20-30%. He didn't let. He scored what 200 odd. I think it's fair to say 20 to 30 of. What 20 to 30?
Yeah. Same as Gerard.
Yeah. That's fine. Don't try and drag Gerard back in. They're not age mates. Scholes obviously on the title scene. He was a quality midfielder in 3 different midfield roles. So box to box, deep. And he played off the top, the front man. On ability, of the 3 of them, sorry, that's not even a conversation.
Xavi and Iniesta never said they wanted to be like Lampard.
What kind of fucking bunny? I didn't get no fucking sports net quotes, bro.
Them man never wanted to. Them man didn't want to, break lines and that like Lampard and do deflected shots. Come on, man.
Some of them quotes. Go on, Dissu.
Hey! Forget them quotes. I saw what I saw.
Go on, Dissu.
I said I've had Twitter for years, and God strike me down if I'm lying. Yeah, and ever seen nobody post a Lampard comp.
I was just about to say that.
I've never seen a Lampard comp.
It's true. I've seen N'Golo Kante. Scott McTominay's comps. I've seen Scott McTominay Frank Lampard compilation.
Facts,
That'll be on YouTube. That'll be on Twitter.
What? I did the N'Golo prayer, fam. I'm fucking.
I ain't never seen a Lampard cup. Off of that, he's not buzzing. He's not buzzing on the streets, and that's the problem for me, man.
I ain't never heard of him. Never heard of him.
Okay, cool. So we'll say Scholes 4th. Vieira or Lampard for the 5th spot?
Lampard, man. Oh, fucking piss me off.
Big Pat, invincible winner, top captain.
I'm going Vieira, bro.
I'm going Vieira as well.
Yeah, I might go.
So fucking embarrassing. So fucking nasty.
Nah, there's nothing nasty about it, bro. What's up? We ain't got no skin in the game for Vieira. Vieira fifth, bro.
And do you know the worst thing about it? I actually wanted to run an agenda against Vieira. Like, I tried, didn't it? So, yeah, man.
Midfielder, man. I'm not gonna have no.
It's a top beat still. It's a top beat.
Cool. Fernandinho or Lampard?
Don't be dumb.
Boy, we can talk on that. We can talk on that.
When this comes out, yeah, all the people are gonna see as you bums, yeah. So after the next man, a bum fucking Frank, serial winner, Champions League winner.
We're talking strictly Prem.
Top goal scoring midfielder in Premier League history, fam. Don't wanna be talking fucking about Brazil.
175 times, 25 deflection. Nobody cares.
Allow it. Be serious.
You took what? You took 30 to 50 goals.
Ronaldinho ain't top 5. Don't get me mad.
You took Lampard ain't top 5 either from this list. Lampard took 30 to 50 goals off of Drogba, off pens alone.
Yeah, I'm about that.
Drogba's career is different. If you give them 30 to 50 goals, you ain't getting fraud in that. You ain't getting fraud. Add 30 to 50 goals to Drogba's Chelsea career. Is he getting called a fraud, Meads?
No,
but you can call him a fraud as much as you want. The facts are the facts.
That he's a fraud. Yeah.
No, he's not a fraud. That's the thing. He's not a fraud. The wickedest thing. He's not a fraud. That's the best thing. He's not a fraud.
Multiple seasons of single-figure league goals, but that's for another pod. Lampard just about gets that 6th spot. We put Lampard in there. So we've got
discussion.
We've got four spaces left, and we've got the likes of Roy Keane, De Bruyne, Fernandinho, Modric, Carrick, Kante.
Who's better, Keane or Fernandinho?
De Bruyne over Lampard. De Bruyne over Lampard.
If I start slapping people,
De Bruyne over Lampard.
For what? For what? For what?
He's better than him at football.
No.
Yeah, no. The Brent KDB is better than Lampard as a player, isn't it?
He is, but the body of work.
But keeping it true.
KDB is better than a lot of men on that list already. But body of work.
Like who?
He's got more ability than Hella, man. Like Vieira, he's got more ability than Vieira. Better player than Vieira. So what? I'm saying, allow it.
That's it.
He's got more. Would you say he's got more ability than Scholes?
No.
You wouldn't.
Nope.
Boy, I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know.
He got a bit more ability
than Gerrard. More ability than
Gerrard.
Gerrard.
More ability than Gerrard. Yeah.
All right.
Cool. I retract.
I'll allow it. Cool. KDB 7th, and he'll climb. As depending on what happens with City in the CL, he'll climb. But if not, he's squalene. But cool. So we've got 3 more positions to pick. We've got Fernandinho, we've got Modric, we've got Carrick, we've got Roy Keane. We've got any late names that you lot.
Roy Keane gets in there. Yeah, Roy Keane gets in 10.
The gaffer, yeah?
It's not for me.
Wow.
I mean, after last dance, man, we're comparing him to Jordan. So
I watched a couple United games back, like retro ones, and Keane could play, bro.
Hundreds. Let's put some respect on his name.
You could definitely play.
You could play. It's not none of them Souness things. It's not none of them.
No, not at all. Not at all.
He can play.
Let's come for the funny.
He could control still. He could control. He's a controller. We'll put him in there. Respect.
Yeah, I'm putting him in there, man.
Roy Keane, big respect.
I don't like them United, man. But
they don't like you either, brother. Cool. We've got 2 more spots to fill. We've got Fernandinho, we've got Modric, we've got Carrick, we've got any other names you lot can think of. You know, perhaps like a Gareth Barry, a James Milner.
Hey, wait, lads, quick question, yeah. When did Drogba leave the Prem?
2012, 2013.
2012, and came back 2014-15.
Okay.
Don't worry, we got that agenda loading, so let's not. We won't release it. We won't release it on this one.
I'm cool.
You're yet to defend him, to be honest. We've been doing this for.
I'm to defend.
We've been doing this
No,
for 6.
no. Do you know what it is? Yeah, if I'm being honest, I was just looking at Drogba's stats, and I was comparing him to certain guys that other people have compared him to. So, Drogba, main striker for Chelsea. I saw 226 appearances, 100 goals, not bad from 2004 to 2012. Wasn't bad. But I looked at my boy, Wayne Rooney. I looked at 240 appearances, 129 goals, and he was playing left wing. Oh, yeah.
Don't get me. I can't believe it.
Hey, I just look. Hey, I was just checking the stuff.
Mad? Nah, this is nasty. And I will tell you why, yeah? Fucking disgrace, yeah?
Speak on it, King.
First things first. Wayne Rooney played up front most of his career for United, period.
No.
I don't hear no left-wing bullshit or none of that. He played up front most of his career. Secondly, in terms of strike ratio, yeah, I think in the league, Rooney is marginally better than Drogba.
Yeah,
marginally better.
Drogba played 100% of his career up top. Rooney probably played.
Yeah,
what,
but his well,
70%.
There is a significant proportion of games where Drogba was not our starter, especially in the first 2 seasons. I think he only started combined 24, 25 games combined. Started 24, 25 games. Then the season after, Then the season after, he became our main striker and then scored his second best return in the league. So come on, man, get the facts right.
Okay, let me give you some facts. True or false? Drogba has 3 Premier League seasons with single-digit goals. True or false?
Facts.
Wait. Let me interject to that. Yeah, quickly. Yeah.
One question. True or false?
Yeah.
Didier Drogba has had one of the most productive, if not the most productive, in terms of goals and assists seasons in Premier League history.
Outlier.
All right, cool. But hear this.
No.
Hear this. Because
hold on.
It's a true or false question. It's a true or false question.
It's true. Okay, Kevin Phillips has also had one of the most productive seasons in Premier League history. True or false?
Yeah.
True. Okay, cool.
But no. But let me just go back to Meads' point about Drogba not being a starter. So I've done 2004 to 2012. In that, he played 13,069 minutes. Rooney, I've done 2004 to 2010, 11. So we can.
Why?
I did that. Oh, wait. I did that because I wanted to do the same amount of games. So 226 games and 217 games. Rooney played 217 games.
Bro, you're bugging.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sense.
So exactly. So in that, and Rooney played 12,328 minutes, and Rooney has 2 more goals than Didier Drogba that played up front.
1,000 minutes less.
Yeah, and 1,000 minutes less. So
Drogba gave you 2 more. Drogba gave you 2 more goals. 500.
No. Rooney scored 2 more goals and 1,000 minutes less.
Let me tell you why that's a disgrace.
At 1,000 minutes less.
You removed off an entire year, where Rooney played up front. Like, that's not.
Throw it in, Seb.
Yeah, wait, if I add that year, that's worse.
Seb, throw it in. Seb,
if I add that, all right. If I add the 2000, all right, let me add that year for you, just for you, bro. All right, and then I'm gonna add what year should I add for Drogba or what? All right, cool. So if I add that year, Rooney plays what? He plays 19 more games than Drogba and scored 29 more goals and what? And wait, let me go to the minutes as well. So yeah, and then 1,000 more minutes. So where? That's the Rooney and Drogba.
So he has 1,000 more minutes and how many more goals?
29.
29 or 19?
29.
Listen, I'm hearing the Fugazi numbers, bro. I'm hearing
29.
Don't worry.
That's a quick one.
You know what we'll do? Yeah? We'll do it properly.
That sounds like an L. That smells like an L, though.
Back to the top 10, G. Back to the top 10.
We'll do this officially and properly, yeah?
Quick advertisement.
I've got a history of doctoring numbers, doctoring documents.
Quick ads. Quick ads.
We'll assess the stats. and we'll present it properly.
That's a quick ad.
We'll have a powwow.
That's a quick ad break. That
may just be a quick conversation.
Nothing heavy, man.
Nothing heavy. I'll mediate. You know me, people's champ. We'll let the numbers speak for themselves.
Hey, get down to come back here. So I don't want
that won't back here. that won't back at all. Cool. So like Seb says, back to regular schedule programming. 2 more positions to fill on our top 10 Premier League midfielders. Who are we filling them out with, lads? The best Premier League midfielders you've seen.
Kante's got to be in there, man.
You think so?
Yeah, man. I respect what he's done too much.
Would you say his highs are as high as they come? Yeah.
Fam, Leicester. Fucking hell, man.
Yeah.
Then going and doing it with Chelsea. I got to respect it, man. I got to respect it.
Okay, we'll put Kante in at night.
No, man.
I've got to respect Kante, man. DC loves too much drip, bro. He likes players that can do stepovers.
On a level, do you know how many midfielders are playing in this league?
Give us some names, then.
Name them, fam. What are talking about?
Huh?
Kante over Xabi Alonso. Is this what we're doing?
Their Premier League careers?
That's what we're doing. Kante over Xabi Alonso.
Who's better, though? You answer the question. Who was better for you in the Prem?
Carrick and Xabi Alonso.
They had more of an impact on their side.
You said who's better? Now you're trying to give me different.
Now you're trying to semantics.
Alright, cool. Fuck it. Let's do it on 2 phases, right? So who's a better footballer? Yeah.
Kante's the worst of the 3.
Question. You know.
Say it, yeah. You know that, right?
Mm.
You know Alonso and Thing are better footballers. Cool, yeah. In terms of success, 1. In terms of impact on their side, 2. And in terms of about all round what they've done in football.
Why would it be all round when we're talking about Premier League?
No. I'm talking about all round impact on football. I'm not just talking.
Okay, what does that even mean?
So think about it. So
all round impact on football.
Alonso, because Alonso, one of the best DLPs or one of the best defensive ball player midfielders. Period.
Agreed.
Yeah, in history. Yeah, same way Kante, one of the best ball winning midfielders in history. Period.
Agreed.
What I'm saying is, you're weighing up their impact on football. And I'd probably say, on ability alone, Alonso's better. Also on impact, you probably say Kante's a bit better because you've never seen anything like it. But they both achieved World Cups. They both achieved Champions League. Well, no. One of them achieved Champions League. Kante's won Premier League titles. But in terms of performances in the league,
Alonso, baby.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's hard for me. I think
Kante. I think
performances in the league, I think Kante is better.
You lot actually sick.
Had a 3-year run. A 3-year run and he 3-peated. Come on, man.
Carrick,
man.
Huh?
Carrick 100.
You're
talking about 3-peat?
Yeah. But when I'm talking about 3-peat, I'm talking about in terms of personal performance.
And do you know what's so...
Carrick's got bare medals.
And do you know what's so bad about... What's mad about Carrick is that I loved Carrick at the time and that year, but a lot of United fans didn't. Like, and I just have to.
You won a medal or something.
I'm taking that into consideration. Like, no, but when you talk about like when he was playing, I don't think he was as respected as people look back now and just say, "Oh yeah, you know, Carrick was actually a really, really good player."
It's Carrick. You know
that got me out of trouble.
Hard to believe it's not Scholes. Come on, man. He got his respect from the terraces.
Carrick.
Wait, boys.
Hey, listen, I'm shameless. I'm happy to have Carrick.
So we've got 2 spots. We've got 3 players: Kante, Xabi Alonso, and Carrick. Let's go around. Who's getting it?
I'm not having Alonso over Kante though.
So Meads, you've got Kante. So you got Kante and Carrick, Meads. Who you got, Seb?
Carrick and then Kante.
You also got Carrick and Kante. Disu?
This is disgusting. I've got Carrick and Alonso.
Carrick and Alonso. And I've got Carrick and Kante. So we've got Carrick and Kante as our 2. What order are we putting them in? Who's 9th? Who's 10th?
Carrick 9.
Carrick 9th.
Alonso, bro. You might as well get 2 guys in there, bro.
Carrick 9th.
That's actually disrespectful.
And Kante and Kante 10th. So I'm going to run down our top 10 list. Number 1.
Please apologize because that's the
No, you fucking got Lampard and stick like a bum. I'm not having it, fam.
What do you mean? The 6th best midfielder to have played in this hallowed league. Come on, man.
Fuck that, man.
I just said,
Five. I'm undisputed.
Cool. So let's run down our top 10.
I'm taking Frank Everton, bro. Not even that shit.
Yaya first, Fabregas second, Gerrard third, Scholes fourth, Vieira fifth, Lampard sixth, KDB seventh, Roy Keane eighth, Carrick ninth, Kante 10th. Cool.
Let me ask a question now, because I've got a couple reservations, yeah?
Of course you do. Go
Why?
on.
No. Why is Gerrard better than Scholes, considering what they've done respectively in their careers, considering what they've respectively done in the Prem?
I think Premiership players. I think Scholes is better than Gerrard, but
so why is he above? Why does he happen to be above Scholes? I don't get it. If we're picking on ability, we're picking on performance, picking on accolades and what they've achieved. Why is he like? Look.
Okay, you're right. You're right.
I'll accept that. If you're going to use that certain logic,
you're right.
Wait. Can I what's what I'm looking for?
Come to the fore.
Can I
intervene?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So if we look at Carrick and Scholes in that year, if we talk about achievements, obviously in a team setting, there's no question. Scholes won like 10 titles or something crazy like that, and Gerrard won about it's a bit tight.
No, boss.
But in terms of individuals, I think Gerrard definitely has more individual accolades than Scholes, and also I feel like Scholes was one of a lot of top players at Manchester United, and he always wasn't the best player. I don't think there's one season where you could be like Scholes was the best player in Manchester United, or Scholes is the best midfielder in the league, or one of the best player in the league. Whereas
don't you think he was probably top 5 for a lot of times?
Why would counter though?
There had stretches where he was like that, and also when you think of the Premier League, I will talk about greatness, yeah. And usually I like to rank things with ability, but you lot have brought in all these other metrics in that, because my list will be different, but like my list will have these might not even be in my list, innit? But if we talk about greatness, when you think of the Premier League, Gerrard's one of the first thoughts into your head in terms of he's an iconic player in this league. And I don't feel Scholes has that, to be fair. I think Scholes, a fantastic world-class player, but also benefited from being at Manchester United, where we're just sweeping off all the titles there. You see what I'm saying? So, nah.
Well, I think, man. No. You're looking at, no. First things first, in terms of Premier.
I'll be back.
Premiers, Prem accolades. Yeah, do the thing. Premiers, Prem accolades, yeah, and what they've done in the Prem. I think it's so gassed, and I've covered this before in terms of the league, yeah, and especially Gerrard's impact on the league. No, it's so gassed, it's so overstated. Gerrard's screamers and winners and that, cool, great goals. He scored great goals, and he's performed good throughout his career. More time, yeah.
Performed great.
Fucking impact. Okay, cool. Great. But let's not understate the fucking impact of Paul Scholes in his side, yeah? I remember there was games, yeah, where I'm looking at Scholes and the ball, it does not stop going to him. Like, every single time, every single attack, United are not scoring, the ball's getting recycled to Scholes, and it's just wave after wave after wave after wave, then a goal. Bro, the amount of 90-minute goals that come because of Scholes' ability to apply pressure, maintain pressure, and you win the game, a lot of it goes unnoticed, right? A lot of it goes unnoticed.
He had the eye for goal too. Let's not forget that as well. He had his fair share of screamers too.
Back in it, when he was younger, he used to get goals on a regular. He used to be a goal scoring midfielder. So I feel like people talk about impact of Gerrard's impact. I think people overstate the impact that Gerrard's had in the league because of what he's done elsewhere, like Champions League and stuff. I don't think that's right.
Okay, let's talk about something. Hold on. They've both played 3 midfield roles. Let's talk about. I think who was better out of the two of them off the front man?
Gerrard.
Who was better in it? I think I'd give it to Gerrard. Scholes got his flowers there, but I'll give it to Gerrard. Who was better in the midfield too?
Scholes.
And who was better deeper?
Scholes.
Same thing. It's the same position. When Scholes midfield two, he was deep. He wasn't going box to box like that.
Yeah. No, he definitely had a box to box phase.
Okay, if you had a box to box phase.
A box to box, Gerrard was better. Scholes was better deeper.
Yeah.
Let me give you the individual awards, yeah? Okay, here's Paul Scholes' individual awards. Jimmy Murphy.
He doesn't have any.
Let me talk. Jimmy Murphy, Young Player of the Year, Player of the Month 1, 2, 3, 4 times. PFA Team of the Year twice. Premier League 10 Season Awards, English Hall of Fame, and then FIFA World Pro nominee. He was a nominee. He didn't make it though. Let's talk about Liverpool, yeah? I mean, not Liverpool. Gerrard, Liverpool. Okay.
Is this what we're doing?
Wait. Okay, individual, yeah? Ballon d'Or, 3rd place.
Hold on. I know where Meads is going.
Is this what we're doing?
Go on, speak on it.
Yeah,
Talk to him, King.
So UEFA Club Football of the Year, PFA Player of the Year, Young Player of the Year, Team of the Year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. Yeah, Fans Player of the Year twice. Yeah.
Oh no, sis.
Right, Football of the Year once. England Player of the Year twice. Yeah. FIFA World Pro 1, 2, 3 times. Yeah. UEFA Team of the Year 3 times. Yeah. Yeah. And in fact, there's even more accolades, but man, I'm gonna waste too much time. What was Scholes? Jimmy Murphy, Young Player of the Year. No. Let's not talk about.
All right. So okay, cool. We're gonna put some weight onto that. Yeah.
Come on, bring in Frank. Yeah, we'll talk.
So Frank, FIFA Player of the Year, silver. Came second to Ronaldinho. Ballon d'Or came silver to Ronaldinho. PFA Player of the Year, won it 2005. Premier League Player of the Season in 2005. We're talking about top Premier League assists. We don't need to do that. FIFA Player of the Year, World Team of the Year, 2005 was there. UEFA Midfielder of the Year, 2008, he was there as well. England Player of the Year, won it twice, same as Gerrard. Champions League Team of the Tournament, he was there as well. Player of the Month, he's won like 6 Player of the Month in terms of
How many Prem Team of the Years did he get in?
Prem Team of the Years, he has been in 3. He's been in 3. No. Team of the Year. No. I'm looking at that wrong. So PFA Team of the Year, he's been in 3.
Yeah.
Premier. Where did I see Prem Team of the Series?
You didn't see that one, girl.
That'll be mad though.
Man said, whoa.
Are you talking about? No, because how can you be Prem Player of the Season and not be in the team?
I'm not making the Team of the Year.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Your peers vote on it, my dog.
I think the PFA Team of the Year. That must be the same thing. It must be the same thing. So
they're quite clearly defined as 2 different awards, my good sir. Man's recalibrating. Look at Meads' face. Wait, I need this as a segment. I need Meads' face as a segment.
He's been in the Team of the Year. No, this is he Gerrard, yeah? No, question. Gerrard, what you're looking at, is it PFA Team of the Year?
Yeah, and it's 8 times. 8 times.
He's been 8 times. All right, fair enough.
8 times.
Fair enough.
Meads read it and was like, whoa. Meads was like, what?
No, I was looking at the same thing. No, I was looking at the same thing. But I was thinking, wait, Premier League Team of the Year. I'm like, it's not here.
Meads was like, whoa. So how many?
Not here.
So wait, PFA Team of the Year. How many did Frank make? PFA Team of the Year?
3 for Frank, 8 for Gerrard.
Wow, Scholes numbers, boy. So what, you add them 2 together, and Gerrard's wow.
And then
wow.
I think the streets, they call this a W.
That's a dub.
You can have that, man. All I'm saying is, if you're going to add weights to the accolades, then Frank will be above Scholes.
I mean, then PFA Team of the Year 3 to 2.
Wait.
3 to 2. It's negligible.
I think the only reason why accolades are being brought up because that's the tie break, innit? So when you look at ability, then accolades is the tie break. You know, certain man, you know, we don't even have to go to the tie break because it's already clear in regards to ability. So that's why you know.
It's a dub.
No, but in terms of ability,
hold on, lads.
Ability, you don't think Scholes got more ability than Gerrard?
I think it's close, man.
It's close.
Hey, listen, I loved Gerrard. Do you know what I mean?
Close.
Obviously, the Liverpool pagan, innit? But like, I loved Gerrard, didn't it? So I'm happy to go both ways. Do you know what I mean?
Close, so definitely close.
Yeah.
I can't lie. KDB above Roy Keane doesn't sit right with me.
It doesn't either.
Hey, this who yours. This who loves drip. This guy loves too much drip.
I'm not having that. So
I'm not having that, man. Ricky did not go through brick walls for man like KDB to be in front of him.
I'm just changing that right now.
I'm not having that.
So Roy Keane 7th, KDB 8th, Carrick 9th, Kante 10th. And just to close up, let's finish up. Means is still looking for accolades, you know. Means is still looking for accolades. And let's close up now with listeners' questions. So I got questions from Dam Zuchia. Which two players would you choose to have never suffered from career-changing injuries?
Hargreaves, number one.
Hargreaves,
well, as a Man United fan. Wait, are we talking about your club or in general?
Just remember, this is the main pod, not Muga. So this is. And it feels like
R9. R9.
R9. Anyone else? Well, let's say two.
R9. I'll think of somebody else. You can go around.
Cool. Meads, two players to never suffer from injuries, career-changing injury.
Just a quick question. Where do we position Vieira?
Vieira is 5th.
Okay, fine. Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. Because I was thinking if he's any lower, that's crazy. No, legit. I was thinking if he's any lower, that's crazy. Because again, in terms of teams of the season, he's been there more than most people. So
cool. So two players who you wish never suffered from career-changing injuries. Seb said R9.
Yeah, same.
It sounds like R9 is unanimous.
Ronaldo and Kaká, isn't it? Kaká? Oh no, actually, Mike Owen. Ronaldo and Mike Owen.
Didn't Van Basten have to end his career early because of injuries?
Yeah.
I wasn't watching them times, so I don't really.
Early 90s.
Nah, but Ronaldo and Owen.
Michael Owen, not bad.
Because Michael Owen was a bad boy before the injuries, man.
Michael Owen, cool. You mentioned Kaká as well, yeah?
Yeah, Kaká, honourable mention still. But I don't think Kaká's injury was like career ending or changing. Like he just never really.
Just ran out of PMP, yeah.
Yeah, man, he never got back to the same levels.
He ran out the PMP meter. He used too much of it up in that 2-year run.
Expired in 07.
Nitrous gas.
I'll do one because I really, really feel sorry for the lad. Jack Wilshere.
Yeah.
He's an honourable mention.
Honourable mention for Jack.
That's a piece, little saint.
What? I'm doing it for little saint.
Yeah,
I'm doing it for little saint.
Do it for little saint.
That is so funny, man. I think Seb did like 10K, that magic thing. I had to walk home.
Fam, I had to walk home, bro.
He just ran for 10K and stopped wherever he was.
Yeah, I said nah.
His way home.
Yeah, I had to walk home, bro. I was finished.
Cool. Talking on Wilshere, what sort of career do you think he would have had if not for the injury?
Fucking hell. He wouldn't.
How good do you think he could have been?
I think he'd be at Madrid right now. Like, I'm not even banning him. I think he was, fam. What he was on was he was like a different level to like English midfielders at that time, innit? So currently, what you're seeing, like the hype, like say people like Grealish is getting. Do you know what I mean? Similar. Obviously, I feel like it was better than Grealish, and he was in a more deeper position. So for me, like as a central midfielder, being that saucy and being that good, for me, I definitely feel like he wouldn't be at Arsenal currently. He'd probably be at one of the top European clubs. And yeah, man, I think he would have had a really, really good career because for me, I used to always be shameless and compare him to Cleverley, but that was just for bants, innit? Do you know what I mean? Like when you take it in, Wilshere was just another level, but unfortunately, he's just been, unlucky with crazy injuries, which I don't even know he can recover from. Like, I don't know where he goes from here. But, man, I just feel like he definitely wouldn't be at Arsenal and he would definitely be a world beater right now.
Calm.
He's an honourable mention for sure.
Yeah. Next question is from Marsh Mahad. In ranked order, who are the top 5 players in the world currently?
1, Messi.
Messi's still number 1, yeah? Undisputed.
Neymar. Yeah,
2.
Messi, Neymar, Mbappe.
Now it gets tasty.
Mbappe.
I'm going Ronaldo over Mbappe because, like, the only reason why I'm going Ronaldo over Mbappe is because
you like him.
Yeah,
like, you're bare creasing.
Yeah,
you're
man. I couldn't like. Come on, like
you're bare creasing.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't put Mbappe over Ronaldo, man. Like I can't do it. Don't make no sense to me.
No, Mbappe.
I'm going Mbappe as well.
It makes plenty to me, fam. Mbappe.
Fuck it then. Yeah, Rashford next after Mbappe. If that's what we're doing, if that's what we're doing, bro, because man, if these are the rules,
what do you mean? What do you mean?
Then fuck it.
What's wrong with you, fam?
Bro,
You're a shame for you. You're a shame for you, man. And then who would we have as number 5? Who's the 5th best player in the world?
Let's do number 4, bro. We need to decide number 4.
Now we've got Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, CR7. That's our top 4.
Yeah.
Number 5.
Who are the players that are in contention? Let's talk about the players. Is Salah in contention?
Obviously,
Van Dijk's in contention.
No,
okay,
no
so
way. No
before this last season that should happen, Hazard was obviously in the conversation, but
yeah,
now,
but he's finished.
He's not. He's out.
He's finished. I don't hear him. One goal, blood. One goal.
Man's coming out with.
Hey, it's hard to have him in there steal after one steal. It's hard to have him in there after a 1-goal season steal. We have to.
Yeah, so I think players who are in contention are Salah. Right? Yeah. Would you guys have Lewandowski in contention?
Yeah. Big boy
Mane,
been doing his thing.
Lewandowski. Who else?
La Liga, would you say?
Who? Suarez is over the hill. Griezmann.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have Griezmann.
Overrated. Griezmann should have never been in the conversation, and ever, never. Mm-hmm. That pissed me off. That whole thing, bro. You should have never been there.
What Prem players? So Salah, Mane. Would you have KDB in the conversation?
No.
KDB's in the Yeah, what do you mean no? He's in the convo. If he's one of the best midfield, one of the best players in the Prem, I think probably you have him number 1 anyway. How could Salah be in the convo?
Don't be ridiculous.
You can put KDB.
How could Salah be in the conversation when we have voted
KDB as our best Prem player?
Hold on. Let's clarify this. How can we have KDB as the best player in the Premier League, but you're considering Salah over him as the top 5?
Speak on it, King. Speak on it, King.
Go on, Jesse.
I don't know we can talk.
Oh, do you know what it is? I know what it is.
What is it?
Obviously, certain man rated other man, like a Paul Labil Pogba. Yeah, raised like Undertaker.
Man raised up.
Yeah, I'm like Undertaker, bro.
Oh, wow. Man raised up.
What a killer.
I didn't even see how we did that. Well, how did we get the gravitational pull? Man just rose up, bro.
So man heard the bill, and that was.
Okay. Oh.
Hey, listen, he had LaBille Pogba better than KDB. So obviously, if he has KDB above him, it's not making sense.
It's not making sense. God.
Best player in the world. That's disgusting. Just spamming crosses. It's not better than Hazard.
Yeah, but it is correct. Who are your top 3 players in the Prem in order?
I will say, Pogba, KDB. I don't know who I put 3rd.
Okay, so if Salah is beneath KDB in your Prem ranking.
I even thought it. I just threw Salah's name in there for fuck it. Salah.
Cool. So who do you want to put fifth? Lewandowski. 200 goals in 5 years.
Yeah, Lewandowski or Rashford or Bruno. One of them three still. One of them three.
Let's finish with Lewandowski. So our top 5 is Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, CR7, and Lewandowski. Yeah. All in agreement?
Yeah.
I still think it's Hazard, but I just can't put my name behind that right now.
Yeah, I think it's Eden, but still, like after the season.
Do you think he's coming back? I think he's done. You know.
I don't know, man. It depends on his desire, innit? Like you have to have a desire to be fit. Like when you've got the big move, you've got the P's now. Like, are you still on it in your personal time to go and get fit? Because clearly he's training, but he obviously needs some extra stuff, and that probably comes from him.
Yeah. I feel like, to be fair, I do feel like whenever he's had an injury and he's come back, he's always come back mad strong. So it's very difficult to write him off because of his ability and talent. So we'll see, man. But it's looking like Chelsea's going at the right time, which is crazy.
Yeah, I think, boy, got a good flip. Got a question from Curve. Do you prefer the more advanced wing backs? Do you miss conventional wingers?
I like this new style.
Wait, hold on. Conventional wingers. Do we miss conventional wingers?
Yeah, so not inside forwards or wide forwards.
To be honest, the traditional wingers, I felt they went at the right time because I feel like these new school wingers, where they're flying wide but also cutting inside, I think it adds a new element of dynamism to the game, and it's better. You get more goals. I think you get way more goals, especially now. You're only playing with one striker. So if you're playing one striker and you're playing with traditional wingers, if your striker's not a hitter, your goals are going to be dried up. Back in the day, when you're playing 2 strikers up top, you're whipping in crosses, you're getting 2 attackers, 2 goal scorers. Now, I feel like your wide men should be real. They really should be either one being a creator and a goal threat, an additional goal threat. You should always try to have 2 attackers, 2 goal scorers in your side or in your attack. Otherwise, you'll suffer. So, yeah, I prefer it. I prefer it this way. This way is definitely better.
Cool.
100%.
Final question from Touchy Gooners. Hi guys, Touchlinefracas, big fan of the pod. Are you guys now sponsored by Gucci following Nomics' latest post on Twitter?
Yeah. Was told that he doesn't allow Twitter no more, but thinks he can come and pan me off next to Twitter accounts. Get your house in order, lad, first. Yeah, to be fair, those are some nice socks, man.
It's crazy. You know what? This you tweeted. He's like, "Hi guys, random question here, but what's the most random thing you guys bought during lockdown?" I bought Gucci socks.
The streets are done, man. The streets are absolutely done. Hi guys. When he's not posting Gucci socks, he's giving us his favorite Haagen-Dazs flavors, bro. That sponsorship bag is coming real soon.
Hey, Prawnline, yeah, and cream is a mad thing, you know. I'm about to have
I bought it today because of you, cuz. I got one loaded in the freezer right now, Steve.
Influencer.
Yeah.
Sponsor the man, them, yeah. This week's Touchline is brought to you by Haagen-Dazs.
At your checkout, use Nomics and get 10% off. And with that being said, guys, I want to thank you once again for your time.
Yes.
Disu, me, Seb, lads, all of you stay safe. And we'll see you guys all again next week.
When I spit bars in a rave, man, I go hard like Santan.